I'm saying bye to all the lies and all the times you cried, saying that I wasn't right, yet I was right by your side. You manipulator, playing games, your friends commentators.
Hello everybody, it's your boy ThrillerXero back over here with a new video today. So now we are going to be talking about how Valve should revive TF2 since this month's season just hit around the corner, and I decided to talk about TF2 in general, and sadly Valve hasn't recently done anything major for TF2 except adding some new maps, cosmetics to the game, and that's pretty much it. And I can agree that this can be money grabbing for Valve because of costing money to open the cases for war paints and weapon skins. Honestly, if I were them, I would have done a better job at it, and that's what we're gonna be discussing about today. So just before we can get into today's video, a major 82% of you guys that are watching this video aren't subscribed yet, and so if you are new here, make sure you smash that subscribe button with the notification bells turned on so you won't miss an episode from me. And now let's dive into today's video. So now, how Valve should revive TF2. Now, since TF2 is in a still state about making updates, and what are the things Valve should add to TF2, especially with the people talking about a heavy update, even though there's already one existed way back in 2008 actually. I'm not sure about a second heavy update though, maybe a heavy buff or I don't know. I have no idea how people started talking about one back in 2020, I remember, or some shit. And so regarding about some additional content for TF2, let's now begin talking about it. Firstly, new weapons. So now beginning with adding some new weapons, as I remember Karma Charger back in the day showcasing about community workshop creations for custom weapons in TF2, which did inspire me what type of new weapons Valve should add in TF2. But sadly, back in the day, he axed down his own channel himself, and he did it for the sake of his mental health, which is really sad because I wish I can rewatch those videos again, but at least an archive channel has his videos re-uploaded. But one inspired me to think about a special chapter for the spy where it can hijack enemy sentries to attack against their own kind and explode within 30 seconds or less, and reverse teleporters again inside the enemy's base, and finally dispenses where they can now support you instead of the other team. And the only way to get them back is to destroy the sapper within 10 seconds or less before it fully reprograms and hijacks your own buildings within 10 seconds like before. It would have been a cool idea where Valve can try adding this type of sapper into the game, as we nowadays only get bug fixes in maps just for the sake of its same gameplay like before. I wondered about the lockdown missile striking weapon for the soldier, where it locks on targets and has a less explosive range like the direct hit, as it can only hit one opponent and fires 3 missiles at the same time like the beggar's bazooka, but you can avoid these missiles by hiding anywhere and it misses. And there are other different types of weapons for each class, like people like to talk about adding into T2, like a specialized construction device where you can make other miniature buildings too, especially the teleporters giving you a speed boost after using it. Plus you can pair it up with the gunslinger, and the mini dispenser would have been a cool idea because since he can provide you minimum supplies at a very faster rate. And yeah, but I also forgot what it's called. And the 3 ones I have discussed about adding into TF2 are the only personal ones I've known about, and I'm glad about seeing less bots in TF2's casual servers nowadays because I remember they were hellish as fuck. Another type of feature for bringing back TF2 are maybe some nerfs and buffs for the gameplay, as I don't really agree with this popular opinion like removing random crits because they can KO you in one hit, as I can think of one reasons for people wanting this removed, but for me, I don't really seem to have a problem with it, and with this all I'm pretty much fine with it. Other than that, Valve should also mostly listen to the community for more updates, which is one of their major reasons of what TF2 should do if they're planning to bring back devs. And what I mostly recommend for Valve personally is to update man versus machine, because there is something that needs nerfs and buffs in it, and I really like to enjoy its fascinating gameplay. First off, the spy really needs to be reworked on, like having the same magnet strength as the scout, and the sapper's power and less cooldown upgrades should be added, and it will make a lot of sense because Spy seems to be more downplayed than his casual counterpart, and it's even viewed to be the worst class in TF2. The only upgrades that the Spy has for his sapper is the range and nothing else, other than the revolvers and the knives are pretty fine. And most of the other classes like the heavy for example could barely deal any major damage to tanks with his minigun, like the tanks have 75% bullet resistance to the minigun, which is too much and it should have been nerfed down to 25%. The only way to counter the tank and deal great damage is the shotgun, in which the tank doesn't have resistance against, and that's the only other option other than the melee attacks. And for the rest of the other classes in MVM, nah, they're pretty fun except for the fact that I would like to have a health based boost upgrade in MVM if there is no medic to overheal you during the rounds of the game mode. We already got different types of resistance, speed boost and regenerative powers already, and why not a health boost? That could be one of the other ways to survive getting slammed on by critical hits other than the critical resistance upgrade. I believe there are more stuff to be worked on with MVM, but I think these are the only two I've been noticing about recently. And finally, I think the third way Valve can try bringing back TF2 is the saxxys events, and most of you guys from the TF2 community know what the saxxys are, but if you don't know, the saxxys are a filmmaking contest where all animators using the source filmmaking software that are all dedicated to TF2, and if one wins a contest via voting, I think, they would be rewarded with the saxxy trophy, which is a golden statue of Saxon Hell himself, and you need to create animations that are dedicated to Team Fortress 2. The last saxxy was held back in 2017, and they were never gotten to return, sadly, due to the popular opinion that Valve is inactive amongst TF2, which we all know about today. But with the saxxys being held and animations are being created, we could get a more player base from reviewers that are watching the source filmmaking animations from YouTube, and you know that the videos are based off TF2 and soon be interested with the game itself, because that's how the same way I got introduced into Minecraft because of the machinimas back in during the early 2010s, the good old times. It would be like the early 2010s again, I think, when TF2 used to be popular during those times. This could also be a good idea to revive TF2 and grow a much bigger player base. And I believe those are the only three ways Valve can revive TF2 other than adding maps and cosmetics to the game, with the ways of having a major update, gameplay changes and newly added weapons, and finally the saxxys returning, and if Valve does have actual plans of bringing back TF2. And I hope so happens, because it's like 5 or even 6 years since the last major TF2 update, the Jungle Inferno, came around, and it introduces a whole new weapons, cosmetics and war paints, plus even maps too. So I hope you guys enjoyed this video. If I've missed anything about a prediction whenever plans Valve has to return to TF2, let me know down in the comment section below. So I hope you guys enjoyed this video today. Make sure you smash that like button, punch the subscribe button with the notification bells turned on, follow me on Twitter and join my Discord server, and see you guys on the next Thriller episode. Ciao!